The name King Tutankhamun, often referred to as King Tut, is synonymous with ancient Egypt and its rich history. Although his reign was short-lived and his accomplishments relatively modest compared to some of his illustrious predecessors, King Tut has captured the world's imagination for one main reason. His tomb, discovered nearly a century ago, was the most intact and treasure-laden burial site of any Egyptian pharaoh. In this video, we delve into the life, reign, and enduring legacy of the enigmatic King Tutankhamun. Tutankhamun, also spelled Tutankhamun and Tutankhamun, original name Tutankhaten, by name King Tut, flourished 14th century BCE king of ancient Egypt, reigned 1333 to 23 BC, KV 62 to Mo 62, discovered in the Valley of the Kings in 1922. During his reign, powerful advisors restored the traditional Egyptian religion and art, both of which had been set aside by his predecessor Akhenaten, who had led the Amarna revolution. Tutankhamun was born around 1341 BC and ascended to the throne of Egypt at the tender age of 9 or 10, following the death of his predecessor, Akhenaten. Akhenaten was a pharaoh known for his radical religious reforms, particularly his devotion to the sun god, Aten, and his abandonment of traditional Egyptian polytheism. King Tut's reign marked a return to the old religious ways as he restored the worship of the god Amun and began the process of reversing his predecessor's changes. King Tutankhamun's royal lineage can be traced back to the 18th dynasty of the New Kingdom, a period of great prosperity and expansion for Egypt. His parents were Akhenaten and a lesser-known queen, likely Kia or one of Akhenaten's other wives. It is suggested that King Tut married his half-sister, Ankhesenamun, who was the daughter of Akhenaten and Nefertiti. King Tut's wife was Ankhesenamun, also known as Ankhesenpaten. She was the daughter of Pharaoh Akhenaten and Queen Nefertiti. After King Tut's death, Ankhesenamun married King Ai, who succeeded Tutankhamun as pharaoh. The marriage between King Tut and Ankhesenamun was a political one, as they were half-siblings, and their union was meant to maintain the royal bloodline. The mummy of Ankhesenamun's stillborn daughter was found in King Tut's tomb, which suggests that the couple may have had fertility issues. As far as historical records and archaeological evidence go, there is no definitive information about King Tutankhamun, Tut, having any surviving children. The only indication of potential offspring comes from the discovery of a small mummified fetus in his tomb. This fetus is believed to be the stillborn daughter of King Tut and his wife, Ankhesenamun. Based on genetic analysis and the inscription on a small coffin found in the tomb, while there is some evidence suggesting the existence of this stillborn child, there are no historical records or artifacts that definitively confirm the existence of any other children of King Tut. The parentage of Tutankhaten, as he was originally known, remains uncertain, although a single black fragment originating at Akheton, Tel El Amarna, Akhenaten's capital city, names him as a king's son in a context similar to that of the princesses of Akhenaten. Medical analysis of Tutankhaten's mummy shows that he shares very close physical characteristics with the mummy discovered in KV 55, Tomb 55, of the Valley of the Kings. Some scholars identify these remains as those of Smenkhkare, who seems to have been co-regent with Akhenaten in the final years of his reign. Others have suggested the mummy may be Akhenaten himself. By his third regnal year, Tutankhaten had abandoned Akheton and moved his residence to Memphis, the administrative capital near modern Cairo. He changed his name to Tutankhamun and issued a decree restoring the temples, images, personnel, and privileges of the old gods. He also began the protracted process of restoring the sacred shrines of Amun, which had been severely damaged during his father's rule. No proscription or persecution of the Aton, Akhenaten's god, was undertaken, and royal vineyards and regiments of the army were still named after the Aten. In addition to a palace built at Karnak and a memorial temple in western Thebes, both now largely vanished, the chief extant monument of Tutankhamun is the colonnade of the Temple of Luxor, which he decorated with reliefs depicting the Opet festival, an annual rite of renewal involving the king, the three chief deities of Karnak, Amun, Mut, and Khons, and the local form of Amun at Luxor. Tutankhamun unexpectedly died in his 19th year. In 2010, scientists found traces of malaria parasites in his mummified remains and posited that malaria in combination with degenerative bone disease may have been the cause of death. Whatever the case, he died without designating an heir and was succeeded by I. He was buried in a small tomb hastily converted for his use in the Valley of the Kings. His intended sepulchre was probably taken over by A. Like other rulers associated with the Amarna period, Akhenaten, Smenkhkare, and he was to suffer the posthumous fate of having his name stricken from later king lists and his monuments usurped, primarily by his former general Horemheb, who subsequently became king. Although Tutankhamun's tomb shows evidence of having been entered and briefly plundered, the location of his burial was clearly forgotten by the time of the 20th dynasty, 1190 to 1075 BCE, when craftsmen assigned to work on the nearby tomb of Ramses VI built temporary stone shelters directly over its entrance. The tomb was preserved until a systematic search of the Valley of the Kings by the English archaeologist Howard Carter revealed its location in 1922. The discovery of King Tut's tomb also brought forth stories of the curse of the pharaohs, a supposed curse that would befall anyone who disturbed the resting place of an Egyptian pharaoh. While many of the people associated with the tomb's excavation did face unfortunate circumstances or even death, it is widely regarded as a case of coincidence and superstition, rather than an actual curse. Inside his small tomb, the king's mummy lay within a nest of 3 coffins, the innermost of solid gold, the 2 outer ones of gold hammered over wooden frames. On the king's head was a magnificent golden portrait mask, and numerous pieces of jewelry and amulets lay upon the mummy and in its wrappings. The coffins and stone sarcophagus were surrounded by 4 text-covered shrines of hammered gold over wood, which practically filled the burial chamber. The other rooms were crammed with furniture, statuary, clothes, chariots, weapons, staffs, and numerous other objects. But for his tomb, Tutankhamun has little claim to fame. As it is, he is perhaps better known than any of his longer-lived and better-documented predecessors and successors. His renown was secured after the highly popular Treasures of Tutankhamun exhibit traveled the world in the 1960s and 70s. The treasures are housed at the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza, Egypt. Although King Tutankhamun's reign was relatively unremarkable in terms of his accomplishments, his tomb and the artifacts within it have left an indelible mark on the world's understanding of ancient Egypt. The treasures unearthed in his burial chamber provide a unique window into the opulence and craftsmanship of the time. Moreover, King Tut's reign symbolizes a period of transition in Egyptian history, from the radical reforms of Akhenaten to the restoration of traditional religious practices. The life and legacy of King Tutankhamun continued to intrigue and captivate people around the world. While the mysteries surrounding his death may never be fully resolved, the discovery of his tomb and the treasures within it have enriched our understanding of ancient Egypt's grandeur and craftsmanship. King Tut's name will forever be synonymous with the magic and allure of one of history's most enigmatic civilizations. Subscribe to the channel for more interesting videos.